Okay, we're live. Good evening. My name is Attorney Vince Davis, and this is The Secret, How to Fight CPS and Win. And I am joined by Miss G, Miss Georgette Truin. Good evening, Miss Truin. How are you?
I'm good, and you?
Doing great. Well, our guest was unable to log in or something, and so we will not have a guest tonight, but let's do some question and answers, maybe for about a half hour or so. And we'll take questions from the audience. To start us off, Miss G, do you have any questions?
Yeah. Where did I put it? Um, can my mother, who lives out of state, stop the adoption from going through? My TPR is next week, and I did provide them with relatives' names, like you said on your shows, Attorney Davis. However, the social worker kept telling us that we cannot accept a relative out of state, that it has to be a local relative that's within miles away from the parent. And I was just told recently that they cannot say that, they cannot tell me that because they have to honor relatives all over the world. Now, what are my chances since the TPR is next week?
Well, it depends. It depends on where these kids are placed right now. If they're
They're in a
placed,
foster home.
yeah, but is it the adoptive foster home?
Yes.
Okay, so the foster home wants to adopt.
Yes.
Okay, so if that's the case, you have a very low probability of success. There are many things that you should have done before the court hearing. A 388 petition should have been prepared, requesting the children back, or
He had
more,
filed a 388, but it was denied.
what do they call it? Family reunification services.
Mhm.
Do you know how the 388 was prepared and what it asked for? Because I can tell you right now, all 388s aren't created equal. Do you have just a bullshit 388, with 4 pages of the form and that's it? Did you,
She said that her court-appointed attorney filed a 388.
like I said, all 388s aren't created equal. You know, there are some really strong 388s that are prepared,
Mhm,
with certain points and authorities, with
mhm,
certain exhibits.
mhm,
You know, um, I remember someone at our office filed a 388 once with video.
mhm.
Okay. You know, did you file a motion for a bonding study? Was a bonding study done? And why are you just now giving the relative information sheet in?
She
I
did
mean,
before, but they told
when?
her no. She told me that she did it the first week they took the children,
Okay.
and
And
the social
what do I tell people every night? If the social worker doesn't do what you want, what are you supposed to do?
file a complaint,
No.
file a motion.
You're supposed to go see the judge.
I'm
You're
not
supposed to go see the judge. You're supposed to
right,
ask the judge to do something.
right, but the court-appointed attorney is not helping her. He's not gonna go see the judge. He's telling her to comply with the social worker.
Okay. So at some point, Miss G, we cannot blame the court appointed attorney for everything. I'm telling you right now what you should have done. If you didn't do it, okay, I understand it. I'm not going to get mad, but I'm telling you what to do.
Mhm.
And then you're telling me, oh, the court appointed attorney. We can't blame the court appointed attorney. You already know that they probably aren't going to do anything for you.
I
You
know
already
that.
know. You already know that. So why are you even talking
Don't
about it?
don't shoot the messenger, Davis.
I know. I'm telling you what you should do. Okay. If you didn't do that, I don't know what to say. I just don't know what to say. Somebody called me earlier today and told me their rights were going to be terminated on Friday. I said, well, who referred you to me? She said, "I've been watching your videos for years." And I thought, I didn't say anything, but I thought, "You've been watching the videos for years and you call me 2 days before?" And I'm thinking, "Did you file a 388? Did you file your motion for bonding study? Did you, file make the motions and, everything that I say to do to try to stop a termination of parental rights?" No. She said, "No." I asked and this was very interesting, similar to what you just said. I asked my attorney to do that, my court appointed attorney, and she or he wouldn't do it. Okay, so what? You just gonna wait around and lose your kid? You got to do stuff. You got to do some. y- I don't know. I just get frustrated sometimes because people tell me, "Oh, my attorney didn't do anything for me." And it's not that I don't believe that. I believe that. But you're watching these videos and I'm telling you what to do. I don't know. You know, hopefully people will start to take action.
What I was trying to say is I agree with you. It is frustrating when people don't act
Yeah.
quickly.
The nonconformist says, "Hello. I hope you guys are well and good. How do you get to be a guest?" Non the nonconformist, you be a guest because you will email our producer, Grace, Grace, at vincentwdavis.com. You send her the email. Oh, look at there. There's magic. Grace must have put that up there. That's how you become a guest. You come on the live scan or on the live stream, and we interview you and we talk about your case. We answer your questions. I got a couple messages from last night's show, Miss G. A couple people said that was the best show ever,
They
and
wouldn't.
it was a little different format. I don't know if you noticed this, but last night it was a person with a CPS case, and I didn't ask questions as if to interview her to tell her story. I told her to just ask me questions. And through her questions, we and my answers, we learned about her case. But it was kind of productive because she's asking me real questions that she came across, um, you know, uh, and how to do her case. You know, I don't know if I said this last night, but she was a very astute guest.
Mm,
Grace, if you have her information, call her or contact her, email her, because ask her if she'd like to be a host. It was apparent to me that through the tragedies she's been through, she's learned a lot about these CPS cases, and I think if she could, share that with other people through one of these shows on social media, she could help, tens of thousands, 1,000,000 people, and she could do a live stream like this, and it will last forever, and people can watch it forever.
mm.
Ashley says, "Mr. Davis, did you get my emails today?" Yes, I did, Ashley. Thank you very much. Crystal, Deidre Payne, one of our all-time favorite guests on our YouTube channel. Deidre, what are you laughing about? Crystal, what those are hands in prayer? Is that what those are, Miss G? Uh, Okay, go ahead with your next question, Miss G. Nobody has any questions for me. Nobody's posting anything.
For you, Mr. Davis.
Oh wait, here's a question. Amanda Ministry says the foster worker said she is not recommending returning the children at my 6-month review in March. Is there any way to prove to the court that they should be returned if I am completing all services? The question is absolutely yes, Armada at Ministries. There are many things that you can do. And you know what? You're really smart to ask me that question now in the middle of January for a review hearing in March. That's really smart because now I can tell you everything that you should do. I hope you have a pen. If you don't, you can just watch this tape video. Number one, you need to consult with your attorney to try to come up with a strategy. Number two, you need to complete all the services that the judge ordered at the disposition hearing. And you must make sure that all those services providers will testify that you did learn something. Here's what typically happens. Oh, I finished the parenting class, Mr. Davis, and they won't give me back the child. But the reason is that the parenting instructor said all you did was come to the class and fell asleep and never participated. So I don't think you learned anything in the parenting class. I've heard that before many times. You know, same thing for anger management or domestic violence counseling or, whatever. Then the next thing you must do is that on the day of the hearing, I don't know if it's in March or after March, but on the day of the hearing, you better have your witnesses in court.
Mm-hmm.
Subpoena your witnesses like a week before, 10 days before, to make sure that they come to court with all their records and their body is physically present so they can rebut anything the foster worker says.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Now, this may be a technicality, and Armada may not have meant this, but
Mm-hmm.
she said the foster worker said. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
The foster worker in California is the person in charge of the foster family for a foster family agency.
Mm-hmm.
The foster worker is not the children's social worker or the
Mm-hmm.
CPS worker. And sometimes CPS relies on the foster worker. Now, the foster worker works for the company that employs your foster parent. They automatically have an incentive not to be on your side, a financial incentive. If they're getting $1,000, $2,000 a month for your kid to be in their foster family agency, do you think they want to give your child back to you? Not hardly. Not hardly. Um, call us and let me review your case and give you a strategy that you and your attorney can use. And don't wait till the last minute, right? Don't be like the guy I just told you about. He calls me on Wednesday for his termination hearing. The actual hearing is on Friday. And, she has been watching my videos for a very long time. Okay, Deidre says, it's the reality of parents not thinking that they will really terminate their rights. Deidre, I hate to say this, but I think you're right in a lot of cases. A lot of people think this is, the United States of America. They don't do things like that. Like, they would never really take my kid away from me permanently. And I'm here to tell you that they do. They do it by the thousands every day across this country. And in countries like ours, Canada, we're getting calls and emails and inquiries from Canada, from the United Kingdom, right? And although Hawaii is part of the United States, from Hawaii.
Miss Mr. Davis,
Yes, Miss G.
Colette has a question.
Okay,
Colette, if you have my cell, please text it to me, or you can
okay, Colette, I'm going to answer that question. It says, hold on. Attorney Davis, what do you consider to be the most important part of an appeal? Okay, I'm going to tell you the different parts of the appeal, and then I'll tell you the most important. The introduction, all right? It's a summary of what you're going to present to the appellate justices. The second part is something called the factual section. Now, I want to tell you something. The factual section is a misnomer. It really is an argument section for you to present the facts honestly and in the best light to yourself. Okay? Will there ever be bad facts? Yeah, all the time. but they're gonna be bad facts for you as well as bad facts for the social worker. So keep that in mind. The next part of an appeal is the discussion, which is basically the legal analysis. It's the law. And
I can't. You're cutting in and out.
so, uh,
You're cutting in and out. You're going in and out with your voice, Vincent.
I'm having
He's frozen. Mr. Davis is frozen. You're frozen, Davis. Hello. So he was answering your question, Colette, but he's going to hopefully sign back on again. Oh my God. Hi, Deidre. Oh my God. Um, okay. uh it looks that way, Colette. I just don't know what to do. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. That was just surprising to me. Whew. Okay. Real quick, real quick. Um, like we were saying yesterday, if you need to file a complaint against the Department of Child Services, is through DHHS, Department of Health and Human Services, and your state Department of Justice. Remember that, because I got so many calls today asking me what to do if they want to file a complaint against the social services. So that's very important for you guys to remember that, okay? Um, Thank you, Colette. That was funny though. That was hilarious because I was just listening to him talking and then oop, he's gone. Um, oh my God. This is the first for me. That is correct. Okay. What questions do you have for Miss G at this moment? Oh my goodness. Okay, so here's a question. It says if they take your parents' rights, do they supposed to take the child support out of your check, mostly all the money? From my understanding, and that's a good question for Attorney Davis as well, but from my understanding is that if you have arrears in child support, they will keep taking that. But if the child is adopted, they will not continue to take child support from you from my understanding, but I could be wrong. So we should clarify that with Attorney Davis. Um, Michael said, 3 judges, CPS, Pennsylvania, easy to talk about my case. I'm not sure understanding that. Okay. Sylvia said Superior Court of California, County of Los Angeles, Chapter 7, Juvenile Division Rule, Children Appearance. I'm not understanding that question either. Oh, here comes Davis. Whew. I'm here he is.
here I am. That was weird. My internet connection, there was something wrong with it.
Hmm. Okay, so we were I was laughing the whole entire time. Me and Deidre were having a good time, and Colette. So there is a question about child support. I missed it. About collecting child support. If the child is adopted, would the parent continue to collect for them to collect child support from the parent? What if they have arrears? Like, would they still collect that arrears child support?
That's an interesting question. Once your rights are terminated, you're no longer the parent. I would argue that you're no longer the parent, so you don't owe child support.
But
I
if
could,
they have arrears, would they still pay it? Because arrears is not forgiven.
and I'm telling you what I would argue.
Oh, got it. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, that's why we needed you. See, that was just really important.
But
Whew. How
I
was
was
that? I was nervous. I didn't know what to do. What were you talking about an appeal before you started
oh
freezing?
yeah, an appeal. The third part is the legal discussion, the analysis of the facts with the law, and then the fourth part is the conclusion, wrapping everything up for the court of appeal.
Right.
Um, the most important part is the factual discussion. That's the most important facts part of the appeal, in my opinion.
Hmm.
Here's a question. Sylvia says, Superior Court of California, Los Angeles, Chapter 7, Juvenile Dependency Rules 7.12, Children's Appearances. Okay, Sylvia, what about that? Did you have a question? And then the nonconformist said, Sylvia, in Los Angeles, you find that in your detention report, or if they were removed from you directly, you should have been given the warrant of removal or removal order and application slash affidavit in support of. Nonconformist, you're absolutely correct. Are you a lawyer in nonconformist? Because you wrote that kind of like a lawyer, legal answer, a legal type person mind. Deidre says, okay, you guys must be talking about my internet problems.
It was funny because I didn't know what to do. But it was hilarious.
Okay, Michael says, three judges, CPS, Pennsylvania, easy to talk about my case. Okay, I'm not sure that was a question. But Michael, if you want to be a guest, as we told you earlier, grace at vincentwdavis.com. Let's see, what does this say? Miss Sikakasta, period. If they take your parents' rights, do they supposed to take child support out of your check?
That was
No.
the question I asked
Okay.
you.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then we have Colette says they can file those complaints right online.
Because I was mentioning when you were frozen that if they want to file a complaint, I was asked that several times today. They have to file it through the Department of Health and Human Services and their state Department
Okay.
of Justice.
Right here we have Sylvia. The child must attend court hearings unless his or her parents is waived by his or her attorney of record. The clerk shall record the reasons for the non-appearance in the minute order and all. Sylvia, you are absolutely correct. Is that rule always followed? I don't think so. It's one of those many things that are in rules or the law that's not always followed. Colette says no child support if they terminate your rights unless, like you said, Miss G, you owe back support. But they won't continue to charge you moving forward.
Hmm. That's what I
Okay.
thought because I've had so many people still paying child support from back home.
Okay. Michael says CPS was cited twice in my case. And I take that to mean cited twice for doing something wrong. Flint T24 says, I'm really scared. I lost my kids due to being stupid and just the dumbest mom, not knowing anything from the very beginning. I'm not sure what that means. Miss G, do you know?
I think it was somebody I spoke with today, if I'm not mistaken. What happened, if it's the same person, I'm sorry if you're not, but if you're the same person, what happened was she lost her child in 2019. And how she lost her child was horrible. So what happened was she reported a domestic violence. The father broke that window. The father um, had anger issues, right? He would break things. And then when she reported to the police came but didn't arrest the father because he was skinny, and he was 150 pounds, and he was like six something, 6'3" or something like that, or 6'2", and they felt like she was not feeding him. But the mother's like, I have nothing to do with this. So she lost her temper with the police. Then the police end up taking all her kids and put all the children, 5 kids, in different homes. And she was arrested for 9 days, and then she was in jail, but she signed her rights. Not her rights, I'm sorry. She signed a release to the Department of Child Services while she's in jail because there was no family or friends she can give the children to. So, but she thought after she comes out of jail that the social worker is going to have her visit the children, be with the children again and what have you. But they wanted her to plead guilty, that she's guilty of elder abuse or something like that, and child abuse. But to get her kids back or to see her children, and she told her court appointed attorney, are you on my side or are you on their side? Because why would I admit to something I didn't do? And so basically she told me the same exact words right now. I don't know if that's the same person, that she feels stupid and dumb
Mm.
as a mom, not knowing her rights, because that her husband wasn't her responsibility to feed. He's a grown man. He's not handicapped. He's a grown man. That's how he's built. So there you go. That could be the same person, but it's unfortunate that case is in San Bernardino County, by the way. And she's losing her parental rights. But why are they taking so long, though? If they took the children in 2019, why the prolonged process?
Is that a question?
Yeah, why? Because
Well,
it's torture.
usually the longer it takes, the more chances you have at getting the child back.
Oh,
Yeah. And sometimes, different social workers recommend different things. I'm sure you've heard this story. Oh, Mr. Davis, the social worker I had was working with me, and then at the 18-month date, they put another social worker on the case and she was totally against me. I don't know this to be a fact, but it's the impression I've gotten over the years that sometimes social workers look at their inventory of cases and families they're dealing with. And
mhm.
if the case has been open too long, they, want to get rid of them. And the fastest way to get rid of them is to terminate parental rights.
Okay. I
So
have
they,
another.
they just move into a whole different mode of doing the case. And this is the sad part about it, that because sometimes you're working on a case with a worker who's really nice and reasonable and trying to help you. And then all of a sudden she's gone and you
Mhm.
don't know why. You don't know why.
But I
You know,
was told they confused the case because they always bring somebody who's not in the same, you know,
you,
understanding as the other one.
the person that you've been referring to sometimes, the former social worker
Yeah.
who showed you texts and everything.
Mhm.
If we protected her identity, maybe altered her voice, do you think she'd agree to come on the show?
Yeah. But we have to alter everything because she's not
Yeah.
taking a chance. Um, yeah, she watches the show, by the way, but she's not taking a chance. She doesn't want
Oh,
to jeopardize her family.
I understand 110%.
Yeah.
But if she were to come on the show, she could wear a disguise, have her voice altered, and, nobody would know who she is. I don't know if you remember this. It happened a lot in the
She's
70s and
not gonna
80s.
wear it. Yeah, she's not gonna wear it disguise.
It happened a lot in the 70s and 80s. They had secret witnesses go testify in Congress. And they literally, were in a disguise. You couldn't see their face and, their voices were altered. Because, I understand a lot of people are concerned about retribution. And have I ever seen in my 30 years
Mhm.
retribution by a social worker? Yeah. As a matter of fact, I was going to say this when you were mentioning something earlier, Miss G. When people come in contact with a governmental agent like a police officer, a social worker, the worst thing you can do is give that person a hard time.
I know.
And the reason why I say that, I'm not saying is it because they don't deserve it. I'm saying is because if you do that, they are going to bend over backwards to screw you. Oh, I'm going to teach you a lesson. So don't do that. I mean, I know
Well,
it's in the heat of the moment. It's your kids, and you know, you're used to saying what you have to say.
mhm,
But it's one of those things I told you last week, Miss G. These cases are not won inside the courtroom.
no,
They're won outside the courtroom. What you do, how you conduct yourself.
I know. That's why when I get upset with mothers who or fathers who retaliate against the social workers doing their visitation or, talk back at them or something. I'm like, just make it about the children because you're hurting your case by retaliating against them, by feeding onto they're pushing your buttons, so they want you to react. Once you
You,
react, then they're going to point the finger at you.
you know, someone in some trial training I took one time told me something that I'll never forget. When you're in front of a judge or a jury, you aren't going to have a very good chance of winning unless you fall into one of these classes of individuals. Number one, an animal, but you're not an animal. People love animals. Do you realize that?
Hmm. Some
There,
people.
there is something in our DNA, in our minds, that make us feel sorry for the poor kitten or the dog or the puppy. They love them. Number two, children. People love children and will always do things for the child. Now, why that is, I don't know. A lot of different social theories on that. But there's a third class that you can fall into, right? And as a matter of fact, I had this conversation with a real client today at court. You can't be perceived to be a strong warrior or bully because it just turns people off. You have to be perceived as a victim. A victim.
Mhm.
So, you know, Miss G, I never told you this, but one of the reasons we've been having so much success in our case is because it was easy to portray you as a victim because you really were being a victim. You really were a victim in your case.
Mhm.
People taking advantage of you, people with a lot of power trying to run over you.
Mhm.
And that was one of the reasons why I think, you know, things turned out so well for you.
Thank you.
And it was easy to do because it was true,
Yes.
right? You didn't have to like make it up.
Mm-mm.
But in a lot of cases, like one of the cases I had today, I had to calm my client down, tone it down a little bit
Mhm.
because we're trying to convince somebody to do what we want, you know. And it was like, well, I want to blah blah blah. No, 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 no. Do you want to win or you want to be right? You ever heard that, Miss G?
All the time.
Yeah. You want to win or you
Yeah.
want to be right?
But truth be told, when you used to say that, I used to get upset with that because it's like part of as a mom, you want to get your children, but that you want the those people that got away with lies and manipulation and deception to pay also. You know, but there's a time for that. You told me that long time ago. There's a time for that. But let's focus on the more important part, which
Right.
is the children. So,
People expect justice and they expect to be right and to show the judge and the world that they're right. The problem is that's not the best strategy to win.
mhm,
Now, if you want to get even and sue somebody, Get your kid back first, and then walk over to the federal court and file a civil rights case. But don't do that up front because it just, I've done a lot of cases. I've watched even more cases just sitting in courts waiting for my cases to be called.
Mhm.
People that go to court who are loud and boisterous and threatening to sue everyone
Mhm.
don't do well in court.
Mm-mm.
Now, I don't know why, you know, I don't know. Is it retaliation? I don't know.
When
I'm
you
just
give you yeah,
I'm just telling you, giving you the benefit of what these eyes have seen.
right.
And I don't know, there's not many attorneys out there doing this that have seen and done as many cases as I have because I've been doing it so long.
Yeah.
I talked to an attorney today that I haven't seen probably in about 20-25 years. And he doesn't do CPS cases anymore, but he does another area of law. But we were kind of like reminiscing, and he's still at the point that he could go just because of his experience. He could walk into court right now and do a case because he had that experience. Now I don't know if he's Albert Einstein. I'm not, but what I have is I have the experience. Somebody asked me how long you've been doing this. This was yesterday. I was online and the judicial officer asked me how long I've been doing this because they wanted to know if I was really an expert. And, I had to bite my tongue from chuckling. And I had to tell this person, my background and my experiences without sounding like I'm a cocky idiot,
Mhm.
right? Sometimes it's hard to do.
It
So,
is.
yeah.
But I
But,
do have oh, so go
but,
ahead.
it's the experience. And I'm telling you guys right now, you have to, if you want to win, try to get along with your attorneys
Mhm.
and the social worker. You may not like it. All right. Now, what I tell my clients is, look, don't talk to social workers because inevitably you're going to say something stupid. You're going to get pissed off. So I don't want you talking to the social worker without me. And make this clear. I'm not telling you not to talk to social workers. I'm telling you not to talk to social workers unless I'm there in person or on the phone. I've had many people tell me when we've had meetings with social workers, "Oh, Mr. Davis, I'm so glad you were there," because I'm like giving them the clue, the sign, like, somebody today in one of my hearings, one of my clients, it was an online hearing, and my client said, "Can I just explain something?" And I went like this, and he kept talking, and I called out his name, "Hey, John," and he looked in the screen, and I went like this. He finally got it.
Why is he talking when he has you?
That's a very good question.
That's stupid.
Well, you know what? There's so much emotion involved in these cases. Any
It
type
doesn't
of crime.
matter. It
You're
doesn't
right.
matter.
But you know what, Miss G? I'm chuckling right now inside because how long did it take you to learn this?
A long time.
Right.
Years.
And a lot of these people we talked to for the first time today, they're not going to know what you know. It took you years to figure this out by listening to me over and over. Years.
Right. But
But
I
what,
also learned to put your emotions aside. You
right.
can't
But
bring
you,
your
you
emotions into court.
you did learn that. But how
Mhm.
long did it take you? Do you
A long time.
remember? Yeah, when we first met and you had a CPS case going, you were you were out in left field
Mhm.
because you wanted to be right.
Mhm.
You were getting screwed. The truth was you were,
Mhm.
but I got to show you how to win. That's what, people ask me, "Hey, where'd you come up with that name?" The name of this show, the name of my book, it is The Secret: How to Fight CPS and Win. I'm not talking about laws. It's very difficult to convince a judge sometimes what the law is,
Mhm.
right? Because most judges feel that they know the law.
Mhm.
Okay, fine. Who am I to argue? With the guy or gal wearing the black robe. They are the judge.
They're
But
just imitation.
but how can I convince them to do what I want? How do you do that?
Well,
And then there's a lot of different skills, you know, less talking, more listening and active listening. I think I might have mentioned this before, but I went to I'm a graduate of something called the Jerry Spence Trial Lawyers College.
mhm,
It's called something else now. I think it's called the Jerry Spence Method.
mhm,
But anyway, um, I was involved with the college for a number of years. Even went to the 28 or 38-day program, and we spent every day, almost every day, practicing on how to listen to people. It's a skill, and it's a skill we all think we do well. I
yeah,
was in my, maybe 50s or late 40s when I first got involved with the college, and, one of the first exercises they did was a listening exercise,
mhm.
and I was like, "What the F does this have to do with being a trial lawyer?" That's what I thought. Has everything to do with it.
How come you don't listen to me?
Hmm, I can discuss that at a later time.
Another show, perhaps. Thank you, Jesus Christ. Oh,
I can discuss that at a later time.
okay. Thank you for that.
Deirdre Payne, would you please tell Miss G why she has that problem?
Leave Deidre alone. That's my girl. Leave her alone.
Deirdre, tell her, girl. She's
I
learned a
love
lot.
it when you
She,
do that. Tell her, girl. Tell her, girl.
in all of these years, Miss G has learned a lot.
I
Not
am.
everything, not everything, but
I'm
she's
still
learned a
learning.
lot.
I'm work in
Oh,
progress.
but this is what I wanted to tell you, Miss G, and this is really important.
Mhm.
Somebody will call you today. Always remember that they don't have the years of experience listening to me every day about how to win these cases. They don't have that experience. So when you tell them you should do blah, 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 first of all, they don't know you. They don't know to trust you. Why should they listen to you? Even though you're telling them what they should know.
I want
And
them to get their kids back,
I
Vincent. That's
know, but sometimes you can't, someone told me this once. You can't care more than they care.
they don't know what they are at that moment.
I,
They're lost. Their
I, you,
mind is so they don't sleep, they don't eat, they're always up researching. They're always confused. They don't know who they spoke to. They don't know if they called you before. I had to like convince people who I am and
right, right.
show them
But
I work
but
for you. And
but that
it
but
was just,
that's all necessary.
I get it. But
That's
however,
all necessary. So, you know what Jerry would say? I'm telling you this. This is a true statement. Jerry would tell you, Miss G, love them for where they are, not for where you want them to be.
yeah, that's nice and dandy, but where I want them to be is to have their kids.
Yeah.
See, that's
But
my satisfaction. That is my, that's how I get revenge against the department. You
you
don't
know
understand.
what?
In making
But
sure
here's the thing.
parents have the children with them.
At the age of 64, I'll be 65 this year. I've learned something. Everything in life is a process. It doesn't happen immediately. Doesn't happen in the first phone call, doesn't happen in the second call or the third call. It's a process. Now, I'm going to tell you something. You haven't seen these texts. We were texting about a former client today.
Mm.
Okay. I want to show you some texts that she sent me where she told me that I was right and that she should have listened to me. Okay. Now, I don't get the satisfaction of being right, but I did get some satisfaction that she is finally coming around. And her CPA case is still going on,
Hmm.
okay? And she's still trying to get children back in her custody. But she and I had a meeting at my office, I think on a Saturday,
Yeah.
and um, I really listened to her mother, and they asked me what should they do, and I told them what I thought they should do. Not everyone, but what they should do, and they were not happy at all with my advice. Not at all. One of the reasons why I no longer represent her. She
Good.
fired me.
Good.
Okay. But now she's telling me that, you know what? You were right.
Is that the lady that said that you said to her not to give up her, what? Not to fight for her children?
No,
Okay.
she misquoted me.
Well, I
I,
know
s-
she misquoted you.
I was prepared to do the trial.
Hmm.
Okay. What I told her and what I always told her, and she never listened, don't talk to the social workers.
Hmm. Without
Don't
you.
email, don't email the social workers. Right. And to let go and relax and let the process and let me do what I do best.
Hmm.
You know,
But she didn't tell you the whole story, though.
oh yes, she did on that Saturday. She did.
Did she
No,
tell you she told her family and friends that Davis said not to fight for her kids because
yeah,
she was too ashamed to say that that she wanted to give up her rights, that she didn't want to fight for them
right,
because the
right,
social worker told her that one of her daughters old enough to make her decision not to be with her, and I
right.
told her Davis told you not to give up, like literally don't give up.
I
Don't listen to the
what
social
I
worker.
told her was let me handle it at the trial.
Mhm.
That's what I told her.
I know. I
But
know.
she was such a hands-on person that she wanted to do everything herself,
Mhm.
the legal strategy included. You know, I and I wondered. I said, "Well, why did you hire me if you didn't want to?" Well, and her response was, "I thought you would agree with me."
Oh dear God. Are we talking about the same lady?
Yeah.
No, that lady told her family and friends, the one
Look,
I'm talking.
I know what you think she told them. I'm telling you what she's told me in person and in text.
Then she's lying
Well,
or confused or something is wrong
have
with her psyche.
you ever met a client that was confused?
Yes.
Have you ever met a client that has lied to you?
Yes.
Okay, so I don't know why you're surprised.
Yeah, but damn, I guess because I give people the benefit of the doubt always, 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 and
Mhm.
it just breaks me when they lie. They lie.
Miss
They
G,
lie.
Miss G, let me give you a hint. Help as much as you can, but don't get upset with them. Like Jerry said, love them for where they are. Okay,
I do
and
love them. That's why I get mad
some people are going to lie to you. You know why? Here's something interesting. I was reading the other day. Do you know why people lie?
because they're insecure.
More specifically, they're scared.
Scared of what?
Hmm. The truth or what's going to happen with what they did. Like here's an example. Did you rob the bank? Let's say assume that you did.
Hmm.
Well, you're going to say no because you're scared of doing 50 years in prison.
If you robbed the bank, you were
Yeah.
caught. That's why you were caught. They already
Well,
know you robbed the bank.
no,
So
you're not caught. They're just out there doing an investigation.
come on, Hughes.
No, it's true. Think about when people don't tell you the truth and the reason. They're usually scared of something. Sometimes it's embarrassment. They're just
No, but
embarrassed.
that's not true though. Lies, when you lie, that means you're trying to hurt something or someone. You're
No.
trying to hurt someone. Lies is very bad. Lies is very bad.
Give me an example.
If you lie against your partner, for example, right? That's a lie. If
Well,
you report
well,
your
wait.
partner, that's a lie.
Okay, wait. Give me a very specific example.
So if a mother calls and the mother says they took my children because I reported my aunt, for example, and my aunt is a good woman, but I reported her because I didn't want her to keep my kids because my kids love her and I didn't want them to be with her. So she reported her to Department of Child Services, made them
Okay, there you go.
right, but she regrets it. But
Right, right, but
that's to
she got
hurt
that
somebody. That's to hurt. That's jealousy. There's
because
healthy jealousy and there's dangerous
they're
jealousy.
afraid of them keeping the kids away from you. You're afraid of that.
Right.
You know what? Hold on a
But
second, because we're running out of time tonight, and we've gotten way off
that's your
subject.
fault, though. That's your fault.
And then maybe 5 more years from now, you'll understand what I'm saying. But
You
I
are
want.
such a jerk. Oh my God.
Oh yeah, I see this. Deidre says, and Miss G's birthday is 2/14. Is that correct?
Mhm.
Isn't that Valentine's Day? Your birthday is Valentine's Day? Wow.
3 p.m.
Oh, that was the time of your birth?
Mhm.
Okay. All right. Well, we have come to the end of this show. Um, and I want to thank you, Miss G, for being a co-host. And I want to thank everybody out there who's watched this broadcast. And we're going to see everyone tomorrow night at 7 p.m.
Mhm.
Miss G, I just want to tell you, and Grace, I hope you can hear me. I'm in the process of developing what's called an intro and an outro, with a little video and a little music, so that we can end the show by another way other than just saying good night, bye, click, we're off. So hopefully we're going to get that, take a step up in our production.
Oh God, Davis, really? That's not necessary.
Deidre and Mr. Davis, your birthday is 7/7. That is correct, Deidre. 7/7. How did you know that?
And that's my favorite number, by the way, 3 and a 7. My number
Deidre,
is
how did you know my birthday was 7/7?
because I said it on the show.
Oh, you said it. Okay. Very good. All right. Well, Lynn, thank you very much for your comment, and we'll see everyone tomorrow at what is it? 7 p.m. Oh, and do me a favor, everyone try to watch the show on YouTube, on our YouTube channel. I know we also, put it out there on Facebook channels, but I'm trying to get our YouTube channel out there where more people know about the free videos and the training and everything. So try to watch it on YouTube. I don't know if you noticed this, Miss G, but a lot of our viewers are on YouTube.
Hmm.
Yeah.
A lot.
Yeah.
Hardly anybody uses Facebook anymore. Deidre, thank you, honey. I love you, babe.
All right. So good night, everyone. We'll see you tomorrow at 7 p.m.
Okay.
Pacific time. Bye bye.
Bye.